Hello, everybody. Welcome to another weekly market review. I'm going to take you through how last week actually went in the stock market and what we have to look out for in the upcoming week. Okay, so let's get straight into it, guys. Okay, so again, a disclaimer, this is not financial advice, and this is just our own personal views that we have set out and not necessarily the views held by any other group. Okay, so number one, right? Last week, the economy actually has given investors plenty of mixed signals. Walmart actually released its earnings, right? So Walmart actually released its earnings. And the thing about Walmart is when they released their earnings this week, it actually beat expectations, right? So whatever analysts were forecasting, Walmart actually beat that. They beat their revenue that was expected. They beat their their earnings per share as well that was expected as well, right? So again, Walmart, despite the high inflationary environment we are in, they have positioned themselves well for the upcoming holiday quarter, and even their CEO, okay, is confident and saying they have a lot of momentum despite the fact that the economy is facing a lot of uncertainty. Okay, so it's great to know that again during a time like this where the economy is kind of giving us mixed signals. We don't know whether we're in a recession or not. Inflation is still high. Okay, you still have strong fundamental companies like Walmart that are still doing pretty well. They are still posing good numbers for themselves. Okay, so later on the charts, I'll show you guys when this earnings was announced, Walmart did have a spike up on that day. Right, so great stuff from Walmart. Now, the next one is NVIDIA, right? So NVIDIA also reported their earnings this week. And again, NVIDIA, most investors who have traded are already familiar with this stock. They know that NVIDIA is a good company as well. The stock has been up quite significantly as well. Again, after this earnings announcement, it actually had a gap up in the charts. So later on, I'll show you guys as well. But again, NVIDIA overall solid company. It beat what analysts were forecasting for them in terms of their revenue and earnings per share. And I think the future is even more brighter for this stock with the whole revolution that is going on now with artificial intelligence. I think NVIDIA is positioning themselves to take advantage of this, and they definitely have a good future and forecast in the years to come as well. All right. So NVIDIA, again, announced good earnings, really great stock as well for the long term. Really something to take note of if you're an investor yourself. Now, lastly, right? So again, might seem like small news. Google telling their cloud employees or the employees that they're going to start sharing desks in some of their big locations like San Francisco and New York. And while it might seem like a small thing, very simply, you need to learn how to read between the lines. And something like this is very simply talking about cost-cutting measures. Right? So again, big company like Google, one of the tech giants, is going through cost-cutting measures. They are starting sharing desks in some of their big locations. Okay, so this should tell you a lot. If a big tech giant or big tech company is positioning themselves as such, then we need to read a little bit more into it and see what they are actually thinking. And very simply, when a company as big as this does this, it is a cost-cutting measure. Again, their outlook for the near-term or short-term future is not too bright. And that is why they are making these changes and positioning themselves. Okay, so again, small thing, but I thought, again, employees also can see this, that it is a cost-cutting measure, but it's just been worded to sound very good for employees. Okay, so they are cutting down office space to reduce costs. And we have seen a lot of other companies, not just Google, that is doing this, but recently, Facebook Meta also announced that they will be laying off more individuals as well. We had Amazon this year that laid off employees as well. So again, all these employees are being laid off in an environment that is not so great right now, where inflation is still high, where we are kind of unsure what kind of environment we are in. These companies are not taking any chances. They are uncertain and they are positioning themselves as such. All right. So cost-cutting measures, managing their productions, all right, laying off employees. They are really positioning themselves to hold as much cash as possible and to retain as much cash to weather through this weird period that we are in now. Okay, so I thought this was pretty interesting as well. And then lastly, okay, so retirement savings took a hit last year. So in the US, all right, in the US, their retirement savings is known as their 401k, all right, 401k. In Singapore, CPF, all right, for them is 401k. So the average account balance last year was 23% down, all right, was 23% down. And very simply, again, you know, Fidelity Investments, which is one of the big groups or well-known groups or provider in the States, have come out to say that everyone is feeling the pressure financially. And I think this makes a lot of sense, you know, whether you're in Singapore or whether you're in the States, we are feeling the pressure of inflation. We are feeling the pressure in the markets where the markets are not doing too great right now. Economy is kind of uncertain as well. Okay, so again, all these retirement and investment accounts are down. Okay, but again, his advice is not to let short-term economic events derail your long-term retirement saving efforts. So exactly, if you have a good investment plan for yourself, a good trade plan, you are positioned yourself in very good fundamental companies with good growth, potential growth for the future, who are heavy in cash, who have a good cash flow for themselves. You should be fine for yourself in the long term. Okay, but if you're not, if you're in companies that are kind of uncertain, that are early stages, that are not having good cash flow, that have not good balance sheets, then you might want to position yourself a little differently. So again, in the States, all right, you can see people's investment and retirement accounts are down. And this is very simply generally because the whole of last year, our stock market was down as well. Okay, it was down about 20+%. So of course, all these investments are down as well. So I thought, again, pretty interesting for us to take a look and know that, hey, all right, because of the current stock market position we are in, all these retirement accounts are down as well. Okay. Now, at the same time, GDP was released last week, all right? So GDP was released on Thursday. And very simply, you can see over here, analysts forecasted 2.9%, but what was released was 2.7%. So what is GDP, for those of you who don't know? Very simply, is how we measure whether an economy is growing or not, all right? Whether an economy is growing or not. And it's also an indicator for us to see or to measure whether we're in a recession, okay? So generally, how we measure a recession is 2 negative quarters of GDP, all right? 2 negative quarters of GDP. That's how we measure what a recession is, right? So 2 or more. So it has to be 2 or more quarters of negative GDP, and that's how we measure. So again, for the announcement, forecasted was 2.9%, but what was actually released was 2.7%. So there is still growth in the economy, despite the environment that we are in. It's just lower than what analysts was forecasted. Okay, and because of this, okay, because of this, this kind of news tends to spook investors, tends to cause a bit of volatility. So we saw that in the stock market this week, where the markets actually went down and we had a bit of a bearish week for ourselves. Okay, so again, when you have news like this, it tend to spook investors and cause a little bit of fear and panic in the markets. Okay, so with that, let's check out the charts and see what actually happened this week. Okay, so we are on the charts right now looking at SPY. So you can see SPY on my top left-hand corner, S&P 500. We are on the daily chart, the 1 year, 1 day chart. And very simply, you can see, again, as I've given you my levels, the prices have come very nicely to those points so far. So again, we were on a downtrend for a while, and then we had this breakout that you can see over here. Okay, so let me highlight it in green so it's a lot more clearer. So we had this breakout over here from our downtrend. Prices went up all the way to my 417 where I drew, where I expected it to go around that level and get rejected. And it has been coming down ever since. Okay, so again, for this week, you can see price went down and hovered around my 400 price level, which again, generally for investors and traders, because 400 is a round number, okay, there is some psychology that is psychology and mental preference that is there as well. So prices did come down and maintain there for a couple of days, but we went down even further and on Friday as well. Right? So we went down even further on Friday as well. So again, what might happen for the upcoming week? Well, very simply, again, if prices do continue to come down, then I expect it to come down anywhere from my 395 to 390 level. All right, so my 390 to 395 level, these two levels are where I'm expecting the stock to go to if we continue downwards. Okay, now if we continue upwards, then again, likely we will be testing around the 400 level. And if it decides to be very bullish, then we might see momentum all the way up to 408, okay, for the upcoming week. Now, again, if we look at momentum wise for the stock, so if we look at momentum wise, currently all momentum is shifting to a negative side. That means downwards. So you can see again very nicely where I've drawn my levels, all right, my 390 to 395. You can see my green line over here, which is my 200 EMA. Okay, that is our one of our strongest support levels. So prices are coming down to that level. If it does break, it can go lower to around our 389, 390 for itself. Okay, momentum for the stock based on RSI and MACD is showing negative momentum, bearish momentum. So again, for the upcoming week, it may be looking to go downwards. All right, my 9 EMA has also sloped down as well. So again, maybe possibly for it coming down for this week. Okay, now in terms of QQQ, the Nasdaq 100, our tech stocks, again, we are seeing the same thing as well. So far, momentum is bearish as well, all right? Bearish momentum. So if we do go down, where can we likely go? So on the QQQ, we are already touching my 200 EMA, all right? And you can see that is where my 290 price level was. So again, I already told you guys where the levels that I have drawn so far, my prices have come nicely to those levels and tested there comfortably. So if it does break this 200 is our strongest support level on a 1 year, 1 day chart. If it does break, we're looking for it to drop to around 285, all right, 285. And if it does continue even stronger, possibly even 281. But if it holds this level, then I'll likely say it will swing back up and maybe come up to our 300 price level. Okay, but as of now, momentum looks bearish. So if it does break, then we're looking at our 281 to 285 level. Okay. In terms of individual stocks, so again, I analyzed Walmart. All right. So again, Walmart announced their earnings. So you can see on the day when Walmart announced its earnings, we had a big green candle. All right. Massive pump up. All right. For Walmart. So again, announced good earnings for itself. Massive pump up on this stock for Walmart. Okay. So if you were trading on that day, would have made some good returns for yourself. NVDA as well, you can see announced good earnings, all right? Announced good earnings for themselves. And what happened? We had a gap up, all right? So it was a gap up, I would say around a $10 to $15 gap up for NVIDIA, right? So a massive gap up for itself. So again, if you were trading on that day for NVIDIA, massive amount of profits could have been made for yourself. Okay, so that's very simply the chart analysis for the week. Let's go through what to actually look out for this upcoming week and how to position yourself for the trading week. Okay, so we are on my slides and we're looking at what is actually going to happen in the upcoming week. So number one, on Tuesday, we have consumer confidence that is coming out. Again, we can see it's red in color. It's a high impact event. Very simply, what is consumer confidence? So again, they survey about a certain few hundred individuals to a few thousand individuals and very simply track their confidence on consumer spending, right? So whether they are confident of the economy, whether they are spending a lot more, whether they are saving a lot more, how are they positioning themselves? So this is going to be an important data that we need to take note of. Again, if you're doing any form of intraday trading or day trading, something for you to take note of. Okay. And then lastly, very simply, is unemployment claims. Okay, so unemployment claims is coming out on March 2nd at 9:30 p.m. This is where the number of unemployed people or individuals file for unemployment insurance. Okay, so again, with all these layoffs that has been happening, we should be seeing more individuals, all right, claiming for unemployment insurance. Okay, so the previous data or the previous two data, if I'm correct, have already started to show signs of that. We'll need to see whether this does increase significantly. So again, analysts are forecasting 196,000. Let's see if it's going to be a lot more based on all the negative news we've been hearing about unemployment and layoffs. Okay, so apart from these two events, guys, relatively no other high impact event. What is or something for us to take note is that the following week, okay, which I'll share in next week's review, the following week is non-farm employment that is coming out. All right, so non-farm employment is also coming out the following week. So that will be something we need to take note of. Okay, but for this coming week, not as many high impact events, not as many events to take note of. Okay, now again, guys, despite the volatility in the markets and despite what has been happening, over here at the TWC community, we trade options and we have students who are able to take advantage of this. Okay, and because they know how to take advantage of this, they are able to make daily income for themselves, literally anywhere from $100 to 1K a day for themselves. Okay, now the method they have done this is through options trading, and literally they are making consistent returns for themselves despite the current market situation. Okay, so let me share with you guys what that actually looks like. So you can see over here, guys, literally this week, volatile week of trading, you have NVDA and Walmart announcing their earnings, all right? You have the stock market that has been going down, that has a bearish week for itself, but these guys have taken advantage and made some consistent returns for themselves. Okay, so you can see again, Meta put over here literally $150 in 6 minutes. Okay, guys, literally 6 minutes. Okay, that's all it takes. 6 minutes, already $150 in his pocket. Okay, another one, right? 6 minutes, $37 in his pocket. Another one, right? A few minutes, $80 in the pocket. Another one, $40 within 4 minutes. All right, 6 minutes, $60. Literally, guys, all right, for this guy, 6 minutes, all right, about a 4 to 5% return, $455 for himself. All right, literally daily income for himself. Okay, and again, there is more, guys. All right, literally so many of them are doing this consistently. You can see so many others. Again, 12%, $115 for themselves, 16%, $140, and this is a span of 1 day. All right, so just now what I showed you was a day trade, literally within 5 to 6 minutes making that kind of return for themselves. And now literally a swing trade, they just hold this trade overnight and they make a lot more for themselves. Okay, and it's not just these few individuals that are doing it. Look, so many of them are doing literally holding a trade 1 day overnight, making 13%, 11%, 12%, all right, couple of $100 in their account in literally 1 night. Okay, and again, it keeps going on and on, right? Literally, one of them from Crowd, okay, saw a potential take, took it 1 day, made about close to 10% for himself. Again, this person as well, I think he positioned himself for NVDA as well when NVDA announced their earnings as well, made about 13%. Due to what we have taught here, they know how to execute this independently and he's made these returns for himself. Okay, and then you have again Baidu as well. This was about close to 50% over 2 days. All right, so such a short period of time, guys. All right, another extra day he's held this trade for Baidu and he's made about close to 50% for himself. Okay, so really solid stuff and returns. Okay, so again, if you know how to position yourself, you know how to take advantage of this. Okay, literally in a week where NVIDIA is announcing its earnings, okay, these guys are able to make returns for themselves. Okay, so this is daily income that they are doing anywhere from $100 to 1K a day for themselves, right? Literally, that's why you see on my top right hand corner we have the 1K a day club. This is what these guys are striving to achieve And you can see they've already started by a couple of $100 for themselves. So if you want to be a part of this free community where I'm posting, all right, market reviews or any trade resources, then go ahead and join our Discord, right? So you can see our Discord over here. Okay, bit.ly/IWC Discord. The QR code is here as well. You can go ahead and scan it and you can join our free Discord. This is where I post our weekly market review and our trade logs. Okay, so these trades that the guys have taken, our trade logs, we have posted it in public for people to see. So there is full transparency. Okay, now again, if you have not followed our socials, okay, please go ahead and follow IWC Insta. Okay, so bit.ly/IWC Insta, and the QR code is here as well. Okay, so in our Instagram is where we post, okay, certain stocks that we are shortlisting for the week. You can go and see where it's very clearly done as well. Certain trade ideas for yourself as well, right? Some free trade ideas and knowledge to improve your investment and trading knowledge. Okay, so it's bit.ly/IWC Insta. The QR code is there. Okay, so this is our two platforms, guys, where we share very valuable and important resources. So please make sure you scan the QR codes and join both of these channels and followings. Okay, so with that, I've come to the end of my market review. Again, stay safe, guys. Have a good trading week ahead, and I will see you next week for another review. All right, take care and stay safe, guys.